we're going to talk about 3 more formulas today. So segment lengths. First you have to look at the circle and figure out what you're dealing with. So type 1, you have intersecting chords or secants, and they're going to cross inside the circle. So that's important. All the variables you see are inside the circle. So the formula for this is A times B equals C times D. Alright, intersecting secants. So they're outside the circle. So 2 of the variables are inside, 2 are outside. So the formula for this is A times A plus B equals C times C plus D. So you can see that you've got this small part on the outside times A plus B, the whole part. And then on the other side, same thing, you've got the small part, the C, times the part on the inside and the outside added together. All right, type 3, the third formula, intersecting secant and tangent outside the circle. So this formula is going to be A squared. So it's the tangent on the outside of the circle, so you're going to have that squared. Is going to be equal to, and this second part is similar to this formula here. It's going to be B times B plus C. So it'll be the part on the outside times the part on the inside and the outside. Alright, so if you know these formulas and can just solve a simple equation, today's lesson is not going to be too hard. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down. And we're going to look at some example problems here. Alright, so number 1 says, solve for x. Directions say find each value or measure. Assume a segments that appear to be tangent are tangent. Remember, the tangent lines touch on the outside of the circle, and the first couple do not have tangents, but as you see, if you scroll down, there may be some tangents a little farther down. Alright, so for number 1, you've got all of your numbers are inside. So if you look back at the top of the notes, you're going to see that the formula that you need to use is going to be A times B equals C times D. So that just means you've got this side times this side equals this times this. So it's not too bad. So you're going to have X times 10 is equal to 14 times 15. And then you just simplify from there. So we're going to have 10x equals 210 divided by 10, x equals 21. Okay, number 2 is very similar. So we're going to have 6 times 6 equals 4 times this expression, which is 5x minus 1. All right, 6 times 6, we're just going to solve this out. Remember here you've got to distribute, so we're going to have 20x minus 4. And again, we're solving for x, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And divide by 20. So x equals 2. And then this one says find BD. So the first one said solve for x. This was x. This one says find BD. So you always have to look back to make sure you answered the question. That's a big deal. Alright, so if x is 2, okay, we have to find BD. BD is this whole segment here. So to find BD, we're going to have 5 times x, which is 2 now, minus 1, and then plus 4. So we've got 10, minus 1 is 9, 9 plus 4 is 13. So 13 is our answer. So BD equals 13. Okay? All right. 3 and 4 are similar, so we're going to skip down here to number 5. And we're going to look at a different formula here. All right, if you look at number 5, that formula, it is type 2 because it has numbers both on the inside and outside of the circle. So if you think back or look back to the top of your paper, you should see A times A plus B is equal to C times C plus D. Okay, so remember A and B are on the same side, C and D are on the same side. These are equivalent expressions, meaning that it doesn't matter which side is AB and which side is CD, okay, since they're set up exactly the same. So you can decide which is AB and which is CD. All right, so for number 5, we're going to have, let's start with the variable first. So we're going to have 9 times 9 plus x. And then the other side is going to be 8 times 8 plus 19. All right, so we've got, we can distribute here and do 81 plus 9x is equal to, and before I distribute here, I can add those since they're both numbers, or you can distribute individually, but it's probably just easier to go ahead and add those, and you probably could do that even right here once you learn the formula. All right, so 8 times 27, that's going to give me 216. And so I have 81 plus 9x, and then I have to subtract 81. So I'm going to have 9x is equal to 135 divided by 9. 135 divided by 9 is 15. This time it says solve for x, so that is our solution. All right, number 6 is similar. The only difference is we're solving for NL instead of just x. All right, so if we look at number 6, we can set it up with the same formula that we used over on that side. So we looks like we have 13x, 10, and 42. So those are the numbers that we're looking at. Let's go ahead and add the 42 and the 10. Let's go ahead and add that and get 52 here. All right, so if we start here with the variable again, we've got 13. And then we've got to do x plus 13 or 13 plus x. Okay, so it's the short side and then these two sides added in the middle. All right, on the outside I've got 10. And if I add those two together, that gives me 52. So I know 52 times 10 is going to be 520. I can distribute over here and get 13x. And then 13 times 13 is 169. Subtract. And that should give me 351. So x is 27. Now, how do I find NL? Well, NL is this whole line segment from the point N to the point L. So I need to find out what is x plus 13. So x plus 13, x is 27, plus 13, and that gives me 40. So NL equals 40. Okay? All right. So far, so good.